With Wonderful Precure coming to an end, I decided to take it upon myself to rank how well each of our girlies would do if they were on RuPaul's Drag Race. I have compiled a list of 12 iconic Drag Race challenges / skills, and for each Kier, I'll be giving them a score from 1 to 10 based on how well I think they would do. If a Kier scores between 1 to 3, they're going to be categorized as low. From 4 to 6, they'll be safe. From 7 to 9, they're gonna be high, and if I think they deserve that perfect 10, girlies, they're getting a win. Now, if you're not familiar with Precure, all you need to know is it is a magical girl anime that has been airing since 2004. And each year we get a new series with a new cast of heroes and usually a new theme to go along with it. Now, also, this is not a fantasy season of Drag Race. We're just going over how well I think they do in each challenge. But if you'd like to see a fantasy season, let me know down below.
And also,
if you enjoy this video, you could leave a like. And you can even subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And in 3, 2, 1, let's get into the video. Before we actually get into each Kier, I just want to let you all know what our list of challenges / skill sets are. So we've got the talent show, the Rusical, girl groups, snatch game, improv acting, roast, the ball, design, makeover, runway, and lip sync. So overall, these encompass like 10 iconic, consistent Drag Race challenges and skill sets, plus the runway and the lip sync, which happens almost every single episode. So I figured that would cover all of our bases. So of course, we're going to be starting the video off by talking about Kier Wonderful, our pink lead of Wonderful Precure. And first things first, if you didn't know, she's a dog, but she's a cute dog. And honestly, we're used to putting like Pokémon into Drag Race here and other video game characters, and you know, Pokemon are oftentimes plants, dogs, dragons, fish. Like, a dog that can transform into a human and then transform into a magical girl is not actually that out of left field for us. It's quite tame, actually, so we can totally disregard that. So let's talk about the talent show and how Kier Wonderful might do in it. Well, I placed her as safe. I gave her a solid 5 out of 10 points for the talent show because I think it could go either way. But what do you think Kier Wonderful, as a dog, would bring to the talent show? You know, her whole thing in the show is that she's she's a comic relief character, and despite being dog or human, she really just wants to run around and play a bunch. So her talent show is probably running, playing fetch, maybe an agility course. You know, there was that one episode where she learned how to do that, kind of. I'd say she'd probably do like fetch or running, and I'm gonna give her a solid 5 out of 10 because really, she could go either way. She could eat the Drag Race girlies up with their lip sync verses, or it could be like making ice water and they'd be like, what am I watching? Next up, we've got the Rusical, and I actually gave her a 7 out of 10 for the Rusical. My logic for this was, at the end of every episode of Precure, they sing and they dance. So she can sing and dance. Which makes it very difficult to give any Kier a bad score on a singy, dancey skill set, because they do it 50 times throughout the year. But I chose to give her a 7 out of 10 because I don't think she would be out there serving like lead protagonist, Girliana Grande. Like, we saw her in that one acting episode where she played herself as a dog, which was great, but I think she would be really keen on doing the most and her enthusiasm would be seen, and I think she'd perform well, so why not? Next up, we've got the girl groups, and she gets a 9 out of 10. For the same reason that she would be very enthusiastic about it. She'd be really excited to do it. They do a girl group number at the end of every Precure episode, and she honestly could win it. She could win it. However, I couldn't give her a perfect 10 out of 10 because her character actually, there's nothing to do with music and performing about her other than the fact that every Precure does it. So I'm gonna give her a 9 out of 10. If I was comparing her to like every Precure in the universe, the Sweet Girlies would probably do better, and honestly, we're about to get you an Idol Precure, and they're all probably gonna get 10s out of 10s for girl groups, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Next up, we got Snatch Game, and I gave her a 5 out of 10. Once again, this is very much like the talent show where, who would she pick? A dog. She'd pick a dog, probably, and she'd do a dog very well, but she could get the critique of, oh, you're just like playing yourself, or they could be like, oh, you're playing yourself, but we love it, you know? There's 2 universes here. So I put her smack dab in the middle. I don't think she's winning Snatch Game, but I don't think she would be bad enough to not be safe at least. She's very funny, so that could honestly put her up into the top. However, I wanted to give her some safe placements, you know? Next up, we've got the improv skill set, which I gave her a 9 out of 10 for. And this is going back again. This one episode where they did that theater show is really informing me a lot in my decisions for this video. 9 out of 10, because you know what she does? She does improvise accidentally, because she disagrees with what someone says in the script of the show and she runs out and blurts something out. But then, along with the others, she's able to improvise a new ending to the show, and she did really well at that. So I'm gonna give her 9 out of 10. Honestly, she could get a 10 out of 10 and win this. She is frequently having to improvise in the quote fight scenes of Wonderful Precure as well, especially with the Wonderful Precure fight scenes, which aren't really fight scenes, and it's like coming up with ways to calm down the monstrous animals or play with them. She's great at that. Honestly, she should get a 10 out of 10. I changed my mind. Pretend that says 10 out of 10. Give her the win, honestly. Next, we've got acting, and I gave her the 7 out of 10. Like the Rusical, another high placement. We saw her act in the play. Once again, she has to be a dog. She has to have a character that's like her. But you know, if she has a character she can excel in, she's gonna do great. The fact that she just was like, I'm gonna act like a dog. And people in the class were like, let me actually write a whole role for you to be in our show, speaks volumes to her skills as an actor. But it's a 7 out of 10 because it's just a little bit higher than being safe. Now we're getting to the how is Pure Wonderful gonna do these challenges? We got the roast. I gave her a 1 out of 10. I wanted to give her a 0, but I didn't want to give anyone a 0 on any stat. So she's not doing a roast. She'd feel too bad. She'd start crying. She would start crying at the idea of having to insult her friends. Absolutely not is she gonna go up on stage and say mean things about them to make other people laugh. No, she's not doing a roast. 1 out of 10. I don't think I even have to keep explaining myself. You all get it. The ball, I gave her a 2 out of 10, and this is controversial because she's so cute. Her outfit, ooh, the Wonderful Precure designs are some of my favorite Cure designs. They're so good. However, she can't sew. It's canon that she can't sew. And I think her first 2 looks would be great. So perhaps I could have given her a 3 out of 10 and just been like, you know what, fine. 3 out of 10, your first 2 looks will be great, but your last look is gonna be such a disaster. It's probably gonna be La La Rebag look. You know, Friendy, I'm sure, would get her some lovely, lovely costumes for the first 2 runways, though. That reasoning is going forward into the design challenge, where I actually gave her a 1 out of 10, because she can't sew. She can't sew. I'm not convinced she can operate a glue gun either, if I'm honest with you. The makeover, once again, a 1 out of 10. I hate doing this to our girly Pure Wonderful, because she's so good. I love Komugi so much. She can't make an outfit. If she brings the outfits from home, maybe she could be safe. But now, y'all, I've been watching a lot of Precure lately, so scenes from different seasons might be blown into one, but I swear there was a canon thing about how she can't do makeup. I think she tried to do makeup at one point, and it was a disaster. 1 out of 10. For the runway, I gave her a 6 out of 10, and honestly, I was kind of wrong for this. I was wrong for this. I just didn't want it all to be high and low placements, if I'm honest. Pure Wonderful is so... I've already raved about how much I love the designs in this season. I love them so much. They're so cute. They're so detailed. The colors are so lovely. I love how the bows correspond to their partner. And her civilian look is cute. It's a little casual for Drag Race standards. I love it though. So I never think she'd flop a runway. I just think there's a chance she might be a little bit too comfy cozy. Their outfits are good to great to exceptional when they're, I almost said in drag. If I accidentally say in drag instead of transformed, y'all know what I mean, right? I sure hope so. 6 out of 10. I don't want to keep explaining myself because it's gonna make me sad because I love her design. Last up, the lip sync stat for Wonderful. I gave her a high placement, 7 out of 10. Once again, because she can sing and dance, and she doesn't need to sing for a lip sync, but they literally lip sync at the end of every episode. And she would be very enthusiastic about doing it. She'd probably be running all over the place, so don't give her a ballad. If you give her a ballad, she's probably gonna go home. If you give her a high energy pop number though, watch out if you're in the bottom against her, because she will run laps around you literally, or get like a ball to throw to the back of the stage because she will chase it, and then you can win by that, I guess. Now for an overall of how I think Pure Wonderful would be able to do on a Drag Race season, I'm gonna say she could probably make it pretty far. Obviously, any sort of design challenge is going to sabotage her. But if there's 1 or 2 design challenges and she's great at everything else, and they don't give her a ballot in the lip sync, she could make it a top 4. Now let's talk Cure Friendy, our second Cure of the season. She's our purple Cure, our first official purple Cure with blonde hair, which I love purple and yellow together, if you did not know that about me. She is Komugi's, Cure Wonderful's owner, because Komugi's a dog and she's a human, but they're like besties. They're best friends for life kind of vibe. I hate to say it, out of the 4, oh my god, all of the wonderful Pretty Cure girlies are S tier Cures for me. I think she's my least favorite of the season though, even though I love her so much. Just because objectively out of the 4, she is the blandest, I guess. Her whole deal is that she's super nice, she's good at a lot of stuff, and she wants to be friends with everyone and every animal, which is beautiful and lovely, and we need more people like her in the world. She doesn't have as strong of a personality, but I still love her and she's perfect and I don't want them to change her. Enough about that. Let's talk about how she would do in Drag Race challenges. So back up to the talent show. I gave her a high placement with an 8 out of 10. And the situation is I don't actually know what she would necessarily do. At the start of the season, it's set up that she's good at like physical things. She fills in for people when someone's sick on the sports team. She loves to play with her dog. She wakes up early in the morning to go for walks. Honestly, out of the 4, she is probably gonna be the most likely one to do an original verse, an original song, lip sync kind of number. But hers would probably be cute and it would probably be about like wanting to be friends with the world and like, let me hear your voice, and that's lovely. And I know how we feel about original songs on the talent show. Am I regretting this choice? I'm not gonna go in and change the graphic. I heard an 8 out of 10 with her original song, I guess. But maybe she would just be safe. Maybe she would just be safe, and that's fine. Like a 6 out of 10, safe. Next up, the Rusical. I gave her a 6 out of 10 safe for the Rusical for all the same reasons as Cure Wonderful, except I don't think she's as good of an actor as Cure Wonderful is. So she's safe instead of having a high placement here. You give her a typical role and she'll do a good job at it, but not an exceptional job. But she can sing and dance because we've seen her do it. Girl groups, she is 9 out of 10, matching with Wonderful because of course they're gonna work together, and they sing and dance at the end of every episode 50 times this past year. I'm not gonna explain that again, you get it. You get it. For a Snatch Game, I gave her a 7 out of 10, and my reason for this is because she can think on her feet really well, which will be shown, I'll just show that together, I guess, in improv, where I gave her a 9 out of 10. She's good at thinking on her feet, and someone in this cast had to be fine at Snatch Game. So I gave it to her. It's a 7 out of 10, so it's a low high. Honestly, she is not where most of the comedy from this season comes from. She's where the heart comes from in this season, I think. But someone had to do it, and it wasn't gonna be the other 3 unless Cure Wonderful gets to play a dog. And then improv 9 out of 10 because she thinks on her feet a lot in the fight scenes. For Wonderful, I gave her the improv for the acting episode. For Friendy, I'm giving her the improv in the sense that she often takes the lead a lot. She kind of feels like the guiding force of the team because she's making the decisions. So for acting, I gave her a 6 out of 10. This aligns with how I gave her 1 point less than Cure Wonderful for the Rusical. I just think she's not as good at acting as Cure Wonderful is. I don't think she'd do bad. The roast, she gets a 1 out of 10, just like Wonderful. She's not roasting anyone. She'd cry. She'd be so upset. She wouldn't be as dramatic about it as Wonderful would be. Like, she'd understand if it's a task, she has to do it, but she wouldn't feel good about it. And she would absolutely bomb the challenge because of that. She wouldn't want to make jokes about her friends at their expense. You'll notice that the duos have a lot of connected stats because they're meant to complement each other. Just like the ball, I gave her a 3 out of 10. I gave her more points than Cure Wonderful by 1. Maybe she could have had a 4 because she did learn how to knit. She did figure out how to knit eventually, but she can't sew. I love her design though. Ooh, she's so cute. I love the little capelet they gave her. I'm not the biggest fan of her like little leg bracelets, but I love her. She's so cute. Speaking of design, 3 out of 10, the exact same reasons I just said. She learned how to knit. She probably could learn how to sew to make a simple outfit. That I can accept. 3 out of 10, low. The makeover, I'm gonna give her a 4 out of 10, which is safe because she can have Mayu teach her how to do makeup. I don't think she would do a bad job at makeup. I just don't think she'd do a great job at a makeover. But I'm not gonna put her quite as low as I put Pure Wonderful because I think that Friendy has the skill sets of having been a human for her entire life. Runway, I gave her the exact same stat as Pure Wonderful. 6 out of 10 because they're doing the runways together. Out of drag, out of magical girl. They are very cute. She's a little bit less casual-ish, but I think if it's just her figuring out her runways, she could use advice. But I love her design. I really do. I want to make it very clear. I love her design. I think she's so cute and I don't want to change anything about her like this. I'm just thinking about if she's doing 8 runways across 8 weeks of the competition, what would she give us? Finally, the lip sync, I gave her an 8 out of 10, which is a high placement that's 1 point higher than Pure Wonderful. Honestly, she could pull off a power ballad if she needed to. We know that she can do a lip sync because we saw it at the end of every single episode of Wonderful Precure, as I've said like 16 times. She just has more to work with in terms of emotional capacity than Pure Wonderful does. She has a bit more attention. She could really focus in. I do think Wonderful would eat up a lip sync too. I just think they both would because they've got similar skill sets. So that is Pure Friendy, also another great contender for Miss Congeniality in the season. I think she gives mid out though. I think it would get to a point in the season, maybe she'd get a win here or there, or a lot of high placements and safes, but then she'd kind of like fizzle out while others rise above her. Now let's move on to our third one. Here is cute Nyammy, Yuki the cat. My favorite from this season. I love her so much. I'm such a cat person and her design is so me-coded. I need that outfit so badly. I need it now. I need to be her when I grow up, but I'm older than her, so I can't be her when I grow down. Anyways, I love her so much. And she is very different from Wonderful and Friendy, so these stats are gonna be completely different. Obviously, we have to take into consideration the fact that she's a cat, but she's a very skilled cat because cats are very smart. And if cats were given a human body, they could take over the world very easily. However, also, she wouldn't want to be here. She would be here because Lillian would ask her to be here. So keep that in your mind while I go through these stats. First off, her talent show, I gave her a 7 out of 10, which is lower than Friendy, which is wrong, because I don't know what Friendy would do. Pretend Friendy had like a 6 out of 10 safe placement. Nyammy has a 7 out of 10 high talent show placement, maybe an 8 out of 10 for her. She would do acrobatics. She would do some sort of acrobatic. Remember Kira Nyammy when she was first revealed and she was fully like fighting the animal monsters, and it's like, don't do that. You shouldn't be doing that. But she was strong. She was elegant. She was very fluid in her motions and very powerful in her motions. So I think she could do some sort of acrobatic dance number that would eat the house down boots. The Rusical, I gave her 5 out of 10 because she wouldn't want to do it, but she could do it if she had to do it. So safe placement. We know she can sing. We know she can dance. We know she can perform. We know she can act if she has to, but she doesn't want to do it. Girl groups. 6 out of 10, all the reasons I just said as the Rusical, she can do it all. In fact, she could get a high placement if she really wanted to do it. But she's being told to do it, and therefore she doesn't want to do it unless Lillian is in her girl group, in which case she could do very well. But she'd be more concerned about how Lillian's doing than how well she's doing, you know? 6 out of 10, she is safe for a girl group challenge. Snatch Game, 1 out of 10. She's not doing Snatch Game. Snatch Game, I think, is her personal hell, if I'm honest with you. I think Kira Nyammy is very funny, but Kira Nyammy is very funny in the fact that I'm a cat person and I have a cat, and they did a really good job at translating a cat into a person and translating cat mannerisms. But improvisational comedy where she has to pretend to be someone that she's not doing well. As fierce as she is, 1 out of 10, she's lip syncing here and maybe going home for it. Improv though, she gets a win. 10 out of 10 on improv. Not only does she also take charge very well in confrontation and in the battle scenes. During that episode I mentioned back with Pure Wonderful, where they were asked to act, she's the one who saves the day when Pure Wonderful runs out there and blurts out a line that's not in the script. She comes out and guides the cast through an improv finale, and she does a really good job, and it leaves a huge impression on the audience. So she gets the win for the improv challenge. Acting! I gave her a 9 out of 10 for acting because we know she's really good at it. It's proven that she's really good at it. The whole drama club is after her. They're like, you need to be in our club. Please, you're so good. But she doesn't want to do it. But just because she doesn't want to do it does not overshadow how well she would do. And in this case, if Lillian's there, she's saying, fine, I'll do it once. And then she will do very well and get a high placement or a win even. But I gave her a high placement here. The roast. I also gave her 9 out of 10 here because I think she'd have no problem going after Cure Wonderful. I think she's quick-wit enough to make fun of people, so she'd do great in her reading challenge as well. But if you give her time with a pen and paper and you're like, come up with funny insults about all of your friends, she's like, bet they deserve it. The only thing I would fear for is if her delivery was too blunt, but I think she's funny. Would her whole set maybe be about Cure Wonderful? Well, yes. Would she refuse to roast Lillian? Yes. But still, for the ball, I gave her 8 out of 10 because she is diva in and out of drag, in and out of human and cat, in and out of Cure form. The only thing is, like, we know she can, like, sew because it's shown that she can sew, but I don't think she's, like, X Games mode sewer. So she would be a high placement. If there was no one better than her, she would win. She's definitely not going home on a ball because the runways she brings, whether they're made by her, bought by her, or Cure Lillian, if Mayu makes them for her, she's set to go. With the design, I gave her a 6 out of 10 because we know she can sew, but she's gonna sew because Mayu's sewing. She's not gonna sew because she's passionate about sewing, so she can do it well if she has to. So she's like a high safe. She can do it and not go home. She doesn't have the bonus Jonas of Mayu making her ball looks for her, you know? For the makeover, I gave her a 3 out of 10. Now, this might be controversial because Mayu is a makeup girly and Mayu is obviously her owner, but she's a cat. By the same logic, why would she be good at sewing when she's a human if she is a cat that I'm gonna use here and be like, well, she's a cat, she's never used makeup. You know what? No, that's shady of me. They use makeup in their transformation. I haven't gone out of my way on anyone else to fix that except for her. You can still see the essence of the low placement there. No, I'm giving her that 6 out of 10 safe placement because she uses makeup in her transformation. That was wrong of me. Now, the runway, 10 out of 10. She's winning the runway challenge because look at what she's working with. Oh my goodness. And Mayu is an exceptional sewer and is gonna make all her runways for her. She is winning a runway challenge because she, like, I'm sorry. I just want you to look at, like, her civilian form. That little, like, collared jackety dress thing with the little diamond. The diamond hem is so cute. Her hair is so beautiful. And then as Cure Nyammy, we needed a Cure with long, white, beautiful hair, and they gave it to us with the pink accents. Are you kidding me? Oh, shut up, you know? Anyways, enough gushing about that. Her lip sync, 1 out of 10. She's not doing it. She is not doing a lip sync. She can, but she's not gonna. Unless she'd be leaving Lillian and she's like, I have to do everything in my power to not leave Lillian. It's like she's walking off that stage and not doing it. So overall for Cure Nyammy, I think she's an end game player. Unless Lillian leaves, in which case she is also leaving. And it would be a big TV moment where she quits the competition because her best friend got eliminated kind of thing, you know? Now, let's talk Cure Lillian, who I know is a lot of people's #1 favorite from this season. She's very relatable. I actually took a Which Pretty Cure Are You personality test like a week ago, and I got her as my #1, which kind of snatched me, but I was like, honestly, they clocked me fiercely with the description they wrote because it was like, she's anxious and she loves to sew, and I'm like, that's me. Let's talk Cure Lillian. She is obviously also not a cat or a dog. She's a human. I've been talking about her this whole time. Mayu, Cure Lillian, is Yuki, or Cure Nyammy's pet owner. And her whole thing is, like I also just said, she's very anxious. She hyperfixates on things to the point where she can't pay attention to anything else going around on her. But she loves to sew and she loves makeup. The talent show, I actually gave her a 3 out of 10 here. Now, mind you, I think she could pull like a Raja O'Hara speed sewing. but the charisma she would need to command the stage for a speed sewing, I think she would really, really struggle with. I think the talent would be exceptional. But yeah, I think she'd get too anxious and too nervous and she'd freeze up. She'd have stage fright. So she's getting a 3 out of 10 low placement because she has to be low because she froze up on stage. But the talent would be like an 8 out of 10 if she could pull it together. For the Rusical, I gave her a 5 out of 10. The same as I gave Nyammy. Honestly, I think all of these girls would be fine in a Rusical. I didn't have a strong opinion on it, so I just put the middle of the road safe for that. Hers is 5 out of 10 because, again, stage fright, which is going to be a common theme for her throughout her skill set. Girl groups, 6 out of 10. The exact same as Nyammy because they're working together. The only thing is, stage fright once again, which could push her into the bottom because she could get nervous on stage and forget the choreography. Snatch game, I gave her a 2 out of 10. Low placement. That's a little bit higher than Nyammy, only because I think she'd try more than Nyammy would. I think Nyammy would just be like, I'm not doing Snatch game, this is stupid. And Lillian would be like, I can't do this. I'm going to internally combust, but I have to. So I'm gonna try. And so she gets like that 1 extra point, 2 out of 10. She's still flopping. Improv, 3 out of 10. Strictly, again, stage fright's gonna kill this girl. Her anxiety, someone help her, please. Mind you, she is good at improvising in the battle sequences, especially with her Lillian net. She came up with some interesting solutions to some of the fights as well, so maybe we could bump that up to like a 5 out of 10 safe, middle of the road. Acting, back down to 2, same situation again. How many times can I keep saying this girl has anxiety? Don't put her on stage, that's mean. I guess I'm the one forcing her into this situation. Maybe I'm mean. Mind you, I have an acting, I have a BA in acting. And I was told I was her. So maybe we should swap that. She was very keen on helping with the theater production in that theater episode, but did not want to be on stage whatsoever. But she was really, really enthusiastic about being a production student, which is honestly what I should have been. The roast, she's another 1 out of 10 girly. She's not gonna insult people on purpose. And, anxiety. However, this is the turning point for her because you know what? She's getting the win for the ball. If it is a premier ball, she sews the house down boots. She will sew everything and anything. She will knit a scarf for her cat. So you give her time to develop 2 runways to bring from home, and then you give her fabric, theoretically. I hope it's not an unconventional challenge. It might be. She's intelligent enough to figure out how to design something because she knows how sewing works. So she gets the win for the ball. She gets the win for the design challenge. She can sew. The makeover, same situation, except know what else she loves? Makeup. She literally gives Iraha, here Friendy, a makeover in one of the episodes. The shiny cats pack that becomes her transformation item and Nyamy's transformation item is quite literally a makeup product that she designed for her mom to produce in her store. She knows how to design, she knows how to do makeup, she knows her way around that block, easy. And then runway. Like, do I need to explain this again? She's winning. She's winning anything that has to do with aesthetics and design and runways and makeup. The lip sync, however, she gets a 2 out of 10 because stage fright! Overall, with Lillian, like, she's giving early out. She's giving early out unless the whole season is like Project Runway Drag Edition. Which then means Nyammy, who I think could make it to a finalist, would go home early too, because she is not staying without Lillian unless Lillian can like stay there with her. Honestly, what she should be is working behind the scenes on the season though. She could be Raven. But that's enough yapping from me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you had as much fun with it as I had making it. Precure was a series for me that as a kid, it was like, when I grow up, I want to be that. And obviously I'm doing that through drag. So I wanted to link my Precure world with my drag world. I thought that'd be kind of fun. If you did enjoy this video though, please leave a like if you haven't already. And subscribe, and let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. There's obviously like 21 seasons of Precure we can do this with. We're about to get a whole new one with you and Idol Precure, which is gonna be so fun. And I could even do this with like Sailor Moon and other series. So just let me know down below. Thank you again for watching this video. I know I say it too much, but I do really appreciate it. And I'll see you in another video, all right? Maybe you could click to the next one in 3, 2, 1. Also, peep my magical girl look that I'm working on. Isn't it so cute? Ooh.
Me when I joined Wonderful Precure.